Thank you very much for visiting my channel. If not difficult, like and subscribe to my channel to always be aware of events. Thank. Azerbaijan has been accused of trying to invade its arch-enemy Armenia as fighting erupted across the border last night with missiles and drone strikes reported in the former Soviet Republic. Both sides have blamed each other for the flare-up amid claims Azerbaijan is targeting civilian infrastructure, with at least 49 Armenian soldiers killed, although figures are expected to be higher. Russia, Armenia's ally, previously brokered a ceasefire between the Caucasus neighbors in 2020 after 6 weeks of fighting saw 6,500 killed. But with Putin distracted by his own savage war in Ukraine, Azerbaijan capitalized and struck while he is unable to offer any military aid or assistance to Armenia. The Kremlin said in a statement today, "We express our extreme concern over the sharp aggravation of the situation in areas of the Armenian-Azerbaijani border. We call on the sides to refrain from further escalation of the situation. Exercise restraint and strictly observe the ceasefire." Footage circulating online appears to show a string of rockets being launched in the middle of the night into Armenia. Azerbaijan said its forces were responding to Armenian provocation and denied claims that they were hitting civilian infrastructure. The countries have been involved in a decades-long conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh, which is part of Azerbaijan but has been under the control of ethnic Armenian forces backed by Armenia since a separatist war there ended in 1994. Azerbaijani armed forces are undertaking limited and targeted steps, neutralizing Armenian firing positions, it said in a statement. Armenia said that Azerbaijani forces launched intensive shelling, with artillery and large-caliber firearms, against Armenian military positions in the direction of the cities of Goris, Sot, and Jermuk, shortly after midnight. But Azerbaijan's defense ministry accused Armenia of large-scale subversive acts near the districts of Dashkaysan, Kelbahar and Lakan on the border, adding that its army positions came under fire, including from trench mortars. A ceasefire was agreed early this morning but it fell apart minutes later. Today, Turkey sided with its ally and told Armenia to cease its provocations and focus on peace negotiations and cooperation with Azerbaijan, Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu tweeted after a phone call with Azerbaijani counterpart Ceyhun Bayramov. But Armenia has appealed for help from world leaders, saying early this morning, Azerbaijani forces continue using artillery, trench mortars, and drones, striking military and civilian infrastructure. The enemy is trying to advance into Armenian territory.